Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube video. So I've always wanted to create one of these types of videos for myself. Here goes. So I see a lot of memes and display pictures and quotes here and there and mini videos about forgiveness. And people always want to just throw it out there with a Bible scripture sometimes, or a scripture from the Quran, saying forgiveness is for you, it's not for the other person. God says to forgive, otherwise he won't forgive you. Forgiveness is not forgiving somebody is like drinking poison and expecting it to hurt them instead of you. And while I can logically agree and see that this could be true, yes, could be very true, I have always hated the fact that when people put these messages out there through different formats, they never give practical advice and practical steps on how to actually forgive. And so back in 2014, I had a real life crisis that completely shattered me, completely. And I don't say that in the lightest way or sense. I say that with definitely meaning what I'm saying, basically, because a lot of times people overuse words, people misuse words, people mistreat words. I'm not mistreating the words crisis. I actually had a crisis in my life, and it changed me. It changed the person who I once was. And I had to, for the first time in my life, really come face to face with forgiveness. And I didn't know how on earth I was going to do it, because the person that hurt me was not sorry, did not apologize, and was no longer around for me to be able to talk to them. And sometimes, when people say forgiveness, like, I'll give you a mini story. I was on Instagram and, they put up this video with Steve Harvey saying forgiveness is for you, it's not for the other person, yada yada yada. And I wrote underneath, well, it's not always that easy. It's easier said than done. And you got several people that come underneath my comment and started talking about, all you need to do is just love, and all you need to do is just pray, and God is forgiveness, and it's easy once you put your mind to it, and yada yada yada. And you've got all these people with their different opinions, but none of them have ever walked in my shoe. None of them live inside my body, and so therefore you don't know what I'm feeling or what I felt. And I get it. If you don't forgive, forgiveness will literally turn you bitter and cold and mean and ugly, and it will turn you that way from the inside out. I got to a place where I didn't like people, I couldn't stand people, I didn't trust people. But on the flip side of that, it lowered my confidence and my self-esteem so much that I wasn't speaking up for myself, I wasn't dressing nice, I wasn't going out, I wasn't having fun, and my life was just passing by, and I was wasting my youth, and I wasn't happy about that. So I want to focus on the practical steps that I did to forgive and to move forward. And I don't think I've forgiven 100%, but I think I am close. But I've always wanted to make this video for somebody who may be going through what I went through and needed a video like this. Like, I was searching high and low for practical videos, sensible videos, not just all this positive stuff that is just happy-go-lucky and mushy, and really there's nothing behind it. There's no meat and potatoes. It's all gravy, So let's get started. So the first thing I did, I went to therapy. That was my first time, 2014, that was my first time going to therapy. I've never been before. Growing up in the Black community, growing up in a Christian home, therapy is not something that is encouraged or talked about or invested in. You know, people just say pray about it and leave it at the altar, and that's it. So that's the first thing I did, went to therapy. It helped me to start to become self-aware. Why did I do certain things? Why do I feel the way that I feel? What's going on inside of me right now? That's what, yeah. So that was one thing that I did. The second thing that I did, I became attracted to candles. I was reading lots of blogs and articles and books, and they were telling me all these different steps to take. I was finding, little by little, I was finding practical steps that I could take. So one of them advised to burn a candle, you know, and while you burn the candle, you could be meditating, you could be praying, or you could just burn the candle. Candles are a symbolism of light and hope, and that is exactly what I needed at that stage in my life back in 2014. Third thing that I did, I got a job and I kept myself busy. It's good to keep yourself busy. It's good to go and either help others by volunteering, or go and find a job, or do something, or study a course that's going to take you from A to B. Keep yourself busy. Don't just sit down in your problems and ruminate over and over and over again, because all that's going to do is bring you more mental turmoil. Fourth thing I did was booked swimming classes. Swimming classes really helped me. When I was in the water, it took my mind away from every single thing that was bothering me, and I've thoroughly enjoyed the water. I thoroughly enjoyed the process of learning how to swim. I just didn't enjoy the class as much, or the tutors, you know, like tutors, they really disappoint me half the time, because they heavily invested more so in the advanced students, especially when you're doing group work or group sessions. So in future, I would never book a group swimming session again. I would only book a single swimming session, and I would make sure I get my money's worth. The fifth thing I did was started to dress up a bit. You know, when you're going through the depression, you forget about your appearance. The appearance is the last thing on your mind, but you actually need to dress up. You know, you don't have to break the bank. You don't have to look like a supermodel, but dress up. Do something to make yourself look and feel good. And it does make a difference. When you look good, you feel good. Sixth thing that I did was started going out, either by myself or with my sister, going to restaurants, trying new food, trying new cuisines, trying to enjoy life a bit. Just randomly get dressed and go to a restaurant. Seventh thing I did was book a holiday for my birthday. I went to Egypt in November 2015, and it was for my 28th birthday, I believe. And I had a blast. I really enjoyed myself. I loved it. The problems were still on my mind, but it wasn't on my mind as much, because I was trying to enjoy my holiday, and it was a beautiful holiday. Eighth thing I did was started to journal. I started to journal I journaled when I was a child, but I stopped for many years and then started again. Journaling helps to just release your mind from the stress and the worry and things that maybe you don't feel comfortable saying out loud to other people. But by writing it down, it's not clogging up your brain as much, and your mind has room to think and breathe, basically. The ninth thing I did was start reading self-development books. Before, I was reading self-development books from the age of 21, I would say, but I wasn't so heavily invested, and I became more heavily invested after this crisis happened to me. Self-development books have helped me a lot. One of my bestest books out there is Emotional Healing for Dummies. It's from the Dummies collection. You can find it all over Amazon. That's a really amazing book because it touches on just some real practical points and some real food for thought. I love that book and I highly recommend it. The 10th thing that I did, and this is not by any means the least or the last, the 10th thing that I did was leave a job that I found to be stressful. Learn to walk away from anything or anyone that is making you miserable and unhappy, because in the long run, you're the one that's going to suffer. In the long run, your mental health and self-confidence is going to go down. It's not going to go up. And what's going to happen is that people are going to move on and be like, oh, well, that happened years ago. What do you want me to do about it now? Or, oh, well, why didn't you speak up in the moment? Or, no, I don't remember that. I didn't do that. They're going to deny it. They're going to go home. They're going to sleep like a baby. But you're going home and crying yourself to sleep. And it's not right. It's not right. It's not fair. So learn to say no. Learn to walk away. Learn to have boundaries. Learn when to quit. Basically, I quit a toxic job that I was in, and I'm happy that I did it, and I wish I had done it sooner. And when I left that job, I didn't have another job to go to, but I was that stressed with that job that I didn't care. I just developed an exit strategy for myself, and I worked on my exit strategy and I accomplished it. So learn to set boundaries for yourself, because when you're going through the motions and you're trying to heal, the last thing you want is something else or someone else to come along and add more damage to you. So these are my 10 practical steps of what I did to help beat depression in my life when it was at its heaviest. That was in 2014, all the way up until around 2018. That's when I started to feel a little bit normal again. Like, you know, when you take chicken out of the freezer and it's touring out slowly, I felt like that's what was happening to me by the time 2018 came around. And yeah, so these are my practical steps. Let me know what you think down below, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye guys.